Choose life and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
An aggressive evacuation of unfortified food in the country kicks off as officials of the Standards Organization of Nigeria storm various markets across the country in what has been described by many as a renewed strategy by the SON to protect Nigerians. The exercise was conducted simultaneously across the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT Abuja. We visited a lot of outlets in the country and evacuated loads of unfortified products from the markets. I know you're itching to find out details of the entire raid by the SON. Sit back and relax. My name is Ifoma Okonkwo. I have all the details for you after this message.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigeria SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards to improve made-in-Nigeria products for export. We have developed more standards for products like sesame, cocoa, gari, and more, courtesy of our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turned around time for SUNCAP, MANCAP, and other certification processes. SON has intensified market surveillance, raids, and seizures to reduce substandard products in circulation, and offenders shall be prosecuted. Join SON in ridding our nation of substandard products. If you see something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
Are you a trader in Nigeria and sell unfortified salt, sugar, flour, or vegetable oil? You are advised in your own interest to desist from such business forthwith. This is because the Standards Organization of Nigeria, the SON, has commenced evacuation of unfortified food in our markets. Here are details of the exercise at some markets in Lagos.
Open that to that tiger battery, let us see.
These are officials of the Standards Organization of Nigeria at the Alabarogo markets in Lagos. These men, like their colleagues in several other markets in parts of Lagos, Ekiti, Kano, Yobe and Sokoto, were in search of unfortified sugar. It was a nationwide raid conducted at the same time by officials of the Standards Organization of Nigeria. These unfortified products lack the necessary vitamins and micronutrients that can reduce the rate of deficiencies and diseases in these products. This is why the SON is removing the affected products from the shelves.
We are here at Alabarako market at Ojo, Lagos, where we have seen various bags of sugar imported into this country without being fortified with vitamin A, so that the children and women of this country will be protected from several diseases that will attack them without this food fortification. Food fortification is planned by government to ensure that Nigerians get value when they buy these things. When you buy sugar, you are buying sugar not only because of its sweetening effect, but because it has been fortified with vitamin A for sight, so that children born are not born blind, so that women who give birth to these children and consuming the sugar do not have deficiency of vitamin A, and then giving birth to children with deformities, with various degrees of deformities, diseases, and that will again cost government a lot for it to treat these citizens. So that is why we are here at the market to ensure that any sugar bag that is not fortified with vitamin A is removed from market, because it's a requirement of the standard that these vehicles, food vehicles, must be fortified before they are imported into this country. That's why we're here, and we're taking them away because they are not fortified.
According According to a statement from the Office of the Director General of SON, Osita Abolama, the raid is coming on the heels of classified security reports and consumer complaints on the availability of suspected industrial and unfortified sugar being repacked and sold as edible sugar in Nigeria.
And we are warning the people who are the dealers not to patronize anybody who has smuggled any sugar into the market. Make sure it has the sign of the eye, which is the side logo showing that is vitamin A fortified. We have a lot of them in circulation. Government has made sure that those in circulation are enough for Nigerians to take and be happy and also feel nourished very well. That is why we are doing this. We are ensuring that any sugar bag that is not fortified is removed from circulation.
Consumption of unfortified sugar is no doubt dangerous to human health, especially in women and children. The SON boss says the exercise was to ensure that edible sugar, among other food, is mandatorily fortified in Nigeria with vitamin A. This, he explains, is in line with government's policy on food fortification. Officials of the Standards Organization of Nigeria visited Aja, Amuodofin, Ojo, Ido and Mile 12 markets. Several packs and bags of unfortified sugar, flour and salt were evacuated from these markets. The SON also found large consignments of empty sacks of popular made-in-Nigeria sugar suspected to be used in rebagging unfortified imported sugar in very unhygienic environments.
I want to ask this, Oga. Is there anything to show that this bag is expired?
No. You mean waste, sir.
What is there anything?
Expired means waste.
You mean waste? Waste how now?
So if when we buy these things,
excuse me, what we call waste is what has been used. If you watch here, the way the bag is, there is nothing to show that it has been sewn round.
Sir, look at it. It's because it was tied down, but it has been sewed. It was loose.
As people are walking here,
yes, sir,
somebody who comes to deceive you, you should not allow him. If you are the owner of the warehouse, anybody that brings things that are not clear, don't allow him to store them here.
As you can see also, we have hundreds of empty bags meant for rebagging. Hundreds of them, as you can see, and this is common in the whole market. And so that's the practice that we have just found out, which means now that for every Dangote sugar we see here, we have to confirm that it's actually Dangote. And we'll do that by putting the products on hold and taking sample for test. So it's only after the test that we could know what to do next. Either to release, if it's truly Dangote, or if it's the unfortified and pure sugar, which we are going to seize after the test.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria had, in collaboration with its international development partner, Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, GAIN, organized a Food Fortification Technical Committee meeting to review sections of the standards for premix and micronutrients requirements in sugar, vegetable oil, and flour products.
Muna fata shekaru na da za su zo, mutanen mu za su yi la'akari da aikin da muke yi, kuma za su lura cewa ya fi cancanta ka sai abu na kwarai da ka sai abu na arha.
Kai meze n'obodo anyị, kai mee ka ihe a na-eme n'obodo anyị, ma ihe a na-ebubata n'obodo anyị ọ dị mma. Anyị na-ayọ biko ka anyị jikwa aka, na asị na ofu aka adịghị ekechi ngwugwu. Ka anyị jikọ aka ka Nigeria wee wọrọ anyị obodo.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká lajú wálẹ̀, gbogbo tá a bá máa fún wàrà, ká lè pé o tó pé ojú òṣùwọ̀n. Èyí tí ò bá yé wa, ká lè tó bá mọ̀ ń pẹ̀, ẹ tó wà sọ́nà. Èyí tá a bá dẹ̀ rà tí ò bá pójú òṣùwọ̀n, ẹ lọ sí Standard Organization of iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ tó bá súnmọ́ yín jù, ẹ lọ ṣàlàyé fún wọn bẹ́ẹ̀, wọ́n á ràn yín lọ́wọ́.
Welcome to the world of standard and quality, where we offer you information on product safety and quality. The program is Standard and You.
Choose life and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
Welcome back. You're watching Standard and You, reaching you at this time on this station on Mondays. It's an initiative of the Standards Organization of Nigeria with special focus on product quality and safety. We are still talking food fortification and the SON's raid to markets across the country. I have with me in the studio Deputy Director, Micronutrient Laboratory of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Mrs. Talatu Ethan. Madam, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
So when we say food fortification, what do we mean by that?
In Nigeria, it is mandatory that flour, sugar, and vegetable oil must be fortified. When we talk of flour, we are referring to wheat flour, composite flour, maize flour, wheat semolina, and whole maize meal. And this product, that is flour and flour product, they have 9 fortificants. These 9 fortificants are vitamin A, zinc, iron, folic acid, vitamin B1, B2, B3, B6, and B12. B9 is the folic acid. And why are we doing this? We are doing this to reduce, prevent, and eliminate micronutrient deficiency in the country. When you take iron, for an example, we find out that the anemic rate is very high. Iron is added to flour to reduce anemic rate. That means to control anemia. To control anemia. Where vitamin A, we all know that when you consume food that is adequately fortified with vitamin A, it promotes good vision. It prevents night blindness. It boosts the immunity of the children to fight against childhood illnesses like diarrhea, measles, and all that. And also the women of childbearing age. These women have adequate vitamin A in their body, or iron. They are able to produce healthy children and also reduce maternal mortality.
So why has this nationwide exercise become necessary?
You know, in Nigeria, that we have what we call Nigerian Industrial Standard. Nice. And in the standard, we have limits for the micronutrients that must be in this product. So if a product is picked from the market and after testing, if it happens that the level is not within the minimum requirement of the standard, so there's need to mop up such products from the market, because the essence of fortifying is to improve the nutritional quality of the product and also to provide public health benefit to the citizen.
So what do you think will be the outcome of this raid?
At the end of the exercise, the product will be tested. After testing, you know, it will now see how the product, especially the imported products, if they are compliant or if they are meeting up with the minimum requirements in the standard. Okay. And also, it will also provide, at the end of the day, there will be awareness creation. You know, the importer, distributor, market, they will also be able to know that in Nigeria we have mandatory food fortification. That sugar, flour, vegetable oil must be adequately fortified with essential vitamins and minerals.
What's the nutritional value of fortified food?
When you consume, let's say sugar that is adequately fortified, you have access to vitamin A. Because in sugar we only have vitamin A that is mandatory. So when you have access to vitamin A, you are able to fight off a lot of disease. You have good eyesight because it promotes good vision. Apart from that, it's you know, when you look at the side effects of vitamin deficiency, which is which include reversible night blindness and no reversible corneal damage, because vitamin A, which is also known as retinol, produces pigment in the retina of the eye. So when you consume that, the children will be able to fight off childhood diseases such as measles and diarrhea. And it's also it is necessary for growth and development. It will reduce maternal mortality.
So how can the consumer identify a fortified sugar or flour?
If you pick, assuming we have a packet of sugar here, you see that we have I logo. You see I with A written. So when you go to the market, you look for that logo.
So it means if that logo is not there, it's not
the product
fortified.
is not fortified. Not that it's not only fortified. Even if it has logo, you have to also confirm if it's adequately fortified.
Okay. Okay, lastly, take us through the deficiencies resulting from the consumption of unfortified foods.
Thank you very much. As I've said earlier, in flour, we have 9 fortificants. We have vitamin A, which means if the level of vitamin A in the system is low, if it's very low, we have vitamin A deficiency, which causes poor eyesight, iron, anemia, and if you look at folic acid, you see that when we have what we call neural tube defects, when the nervous system is not well developed as a result of folic acid deficiency.
So, take us through the deficiencies resulting from the consumption of unfortified foods.
Okay. We have vitamin A deficiency, we have anemia, and we also have goiter. That's as a lack of iodine deficiency disorder. That's goiter. When you see people with that's goiter. So the purpose of fortification is to prevent all this micronutrient deficiency.
What about in flour?
No, I've said it earlier. In flour, we have vitamin A, we have iron, we have zinc, we have folic acid, and we have B complex, like B1, B2, B3, B6, B12.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us an insight into this subject, fortification.
Thank you.
Up next is feedback with Alimot Osifo. Over to you, Alimot.
Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) brings a new lease of life to Nigerian SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards aimed at improving the exports of the nation's food and cash crops. This explains why we have developed more standards for Nigeria's produce like sesame, cocoa, garri, and more, courtesy our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turnaround time for SUNCAP and MANCAP to reduce substandard products and legal arm to prosecute offenders. Join the Standards Organization of Nigeria in ridding our nation of substandard goods due to consistent market surveillance and raids. See something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Thank you, Ifoma. Welcome to the feedback segment of the program. I am Halimot Osifo. Quality can be defined as a standard of a product or service as measured against others of similar kind. The desire of any manufacturer is to produce goods of acceptable quality to meet the aspirations of consumers. Every day, millions of goods are produced or imported into the country, thereby expanding consumers' choice and increased penchant for quality goods. As these goods compete for patronage at the various markets, consumers' desire for quality goods is driven by his knowledge for such goods and his or her purchasing power. When such good is affordable, it is considered cheap by most consumers, especially when he or she has to pay so little to get so much value. The question is, how cheap is a product that you have to replace within a short period of time? A typical example is the bulb, which our investigations have shown that a significant number of imported bulbs do not last more than 3 days after the date of purchase. For the producer and importer of goods, profit on the business is important. For the consumer, getting value for his or her money is the ultimate. For us at the Standards Organization of Nigeria, standards must be enforced in the interest of all. What it means, therefore, is that the producer of a product must ensure quality, the consumer must purchase products at reasonable market price that will keep the manufacturer in business and also derive value from such price. For the unscrupulous businessman who wants to make quick and cheap money and flood our markets with fake and substandard products, remember, the economy is ours and you are a part of us. Say no to substandard products, buy original, sell authentic, and use only the best. Now let's take a look at some of the messages we received last week. Anonymous messenger says, how can we report products that is not registered? You can report a product that is not registered to any of SUN's offices near you, or you call the number on your screen now. Ilya from Maiduguri says, Meteorology is an interesting topic. I wish I am a billionaire to contribute to its development. You do not have to be a billionaire to contribute to the development of that. You can simply insist on accuracy while using any of the measuring instruments. Ayodele Gideon says, quality management system is what we all need to bring about desirable expectation of change we all clamor for. Son and all patriotic citizens must be ready to sacrifice and cooperate with right people at right places to attain and sustain that in our environment. Well said, Ayodele. Thank you so much. And that's the much we can take on the feedback segment of the program. For any question, complaints, or suggestion, you can call us or send in your messages to the number 07059724455. Reach out to us on Facebook at StandardNU, Instagram and Twitter at StandardNU_. You can also send a mail to the address thestandardnu@gmail.com. Don't forget we have videos online at youtube.com/StandardNU. Don't just view, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks and have a nice week.